am I watching this? Hey, good morning. Hope everybody had a great Tuesday yesterday. Today is Wednesday. It's going to be 71 degrees here in Phoenix. Sorry if you're watching from Chicago. I saw somebody walking out of Target the other day. It's really interesting here. I sat with somebody at Target once. We're having coffee, and it was down by the university. So we played a game called From Here, Not Here. And you can tell the locals when it gets down to 65 degrees, they are dressed like Eskimos. And people from Michigan are wearing shorts and tank tops. So we just watch people walk by and we go, not from here, local from here. I saw a lady leaving Target. Not that I hang out at Target, but I was leaving Target the other day. It was last week. It was 72 degrees. I'm wearing shorts. Now in the morning, it was a little chilly. It was like, I don't know, 40. And she's got a stocking cap on, a down coat, and gloves, and it's 72. Maybe she needed that in the morning when it was 45, but really, I mean, 72. So what I'm told is when it's really hot here in the summer, 112, 115, 205, your blood vessels go to the outside of your skin to keep you cool. And so they're closer to your skin than normal. And then when it gets like to 60, you're freezing because your blood vessels are out there. So if you're planning on moving to Phoenix, be prepared. After the second year, you're going to look like a weather wimp. So let's dive in. The purpose of this channel is to share with you the numbers of what's going on, because there's so much chatter going on about real estate's going to crash, real estate's going to explode, and everybody's guessing. And rather than guess, I like to look at today's numbers and kind of try to see what they're telling me about tomorrow, because it's all about the data. Now, you can look at the data and there can be a black swan event that comes in and all the banks crash and everything goes to hell in a handbasket. But at least we make a good faith effort of looking and seeing why prices are going up like they are, and where's inventory, and how's it headed. And so we know together. So now you don't have somebody just telling you what's going on in the market and telling you what to believe. You see the numbers yourself, and you can make your own buying and selling decisions. So as you know, inventory is real tight. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we're going to take a look at what we are seeing this morning. Now, remember on Monday, we saw, I think it was 50 or 4,900 units, I think it was. And yesterday we went down to like 4,650. We should be going up today. Let's see what happens. So when I share, when I take a look at this, I go to quick search, and I know this is kind of small on your screen, but I'll wave the mouse around and let you see. So here's the number right there. Ooh, 4538. Let me put that into perspective. If I share the 7-day moving average here, and this is a bit of an eye chart, so forgive me. I rolled up the numbers this morning. This shows this morning numbers that over the past 7 days, we had 3,828 homes come on the market, of which 4,068 went under contract. That's 240 more homes than what came on. Now, remember that number of homes available is around 4,400, and we're putting 4,000 homes under contract every 7 days. That tells you we have a 1-week supply of homes. I have no words for where this is going to go, but if you look here, see these yellow lines, golden, whatever you call, that is the number of homes going under contract. The blue line here, it's kind of tiny there, I get it. Those are the number of homes that are coming on the market. We are exceeding the number of homes coming on the market every week. And I repeat myself, until this blue line gets higher than this yellow line, we can't expect any price relief anytime soon. So let's see what the Cromford market has to say about this. And let's see. So yesterday they said CoreLogic is another organization that tracks real estate data, but they lag. So they came out with November's numbers at the end of December, and then they make predictions. Their predictions have been pretty bad. Just to let you know, they predicted that real estate would go up 3.5% this year. We went up 20. CoreLogic published their loan performance insights report for November today. November, and it's February. But hey, we'll take what we can get, right? 5.9% of mortgages were delinquent by 30 or more days in November, which is up from 3.9% in November 2019. Sounds alarming, but really, since we're going through this crisis that we're in right now, our delinquencies only clicked up maybe 2%. And it said serious delinquent loans plus loans in foreclosure are at 3.9%, which is the lowest rate reported since June 2020. The declining level of delinquency suggests increasing stabilization and reinforces our view, that's Cranford report, that we are unlikely to see a large amount of distressed inventory coming over the market in the 12 months. Now, that's important to note because what they're saying is based on the data that we're seeing right now, the numbers that we're looking at, we don't see any stress coming in the market over the next 12 months. Now, the Cranford report, Michael Orr, mathematician, rarely forecasts out more than 9 months. But we have a level of 100, which is considered a balanced market. And we're seeing markets right now of like 850, 750. So until we see that Cranford index get down to 90, that's when we'll start to see prices actually coming down. Has to get to 100 to stabilize. Another thing I want to put out there for you too is, just cruise around YouTube today after you hit that subscribe button. So don't leave without hitting my subscribe button, and hit the like button. It tells YouTube to put this in front of more people. You're going to see, boy, when these forbearances hit the market, that's when the market's over. Because as soon as this extension on forbearance expires, remember Congress and Senate, they keep, kicking the can down the road. And as soon as all these renters get kicked out, the real estate market is going to go sideways, and it's going to be terrible. And we're going to have an unbelievable amount of foreclosures. Right now in Arizona, we only have, I believe it was 831 homes in pre-foreclosures. So here's a number that I want you to kind of chew on a little bit. When you see those videos that say that they're this forbearance, now forbearance is you're just not making your payments, you're delaying it. And at the end of your forbearance period, you've got the option to catch up, make all your payments, or tack the payments that you owe at the end of the loan, which is what I would do. And you've been accumulating interest along the way. So, if you owe $10,000 in payments, you're probably going to owe $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 at the end. So there's going to be a cost to delaying it. And don't forget, you also have to stay current on your taxes. But anyway, right now, there's only 3.9% of homes, or is it 3.9% or 3.9 million? 3.9% of homes are in active forbearance or delinquent. So here's what I want you to consider. Right now, our inventory is down by 83%. There's 83% less homes now on the market than there was last year. So if all those homes that are in forbearance hit the market, instead of our inventory being down 83%, it'll be down 79%. Is that really going to cause a foreclosure crisis? The math says no. Let's see. It's looking like it will be free rent and homes forever. Well, forever's a long time. No, I think that's gonna end, and it could end horribly for some people. Nobody really knows for sure. I mean, right now they're just guessing. The central bank is pumping. They're not printing dollars. It's very complicated. They're not printing dollars. They're adding reserves to the banking system with the hopes that the banks will make more loans and it will stimulate the economy with the hopes that the money that is in the system, the Treasury can now borrow it and inject it into the system, and they want to see inflation come up. The problem is, can you ever name a time when the central bank actually created inflation? They were very good at tamping down on it. Paul Volcker in the 80s, he raised interest rates to unprecedented level. My first mortgage was 12 and 3/4. I thought I was doing great. And believe it or not, prices were going up at that point. So he clamped down and he raised the prime rate to 17%, and he put an end to that awful inflation that we had. But you look at 2008, and the central bank was pumping all kinds of dollars into the system. They were increasing reserves. They're buying treasuries and mortgage-backed securities, giving the banks liquidity, saying, okay, I'm going to take that off your books. Now go lend more. So they're lending not more. They're lending kind of at a normal level. The quality of loans that are out there now for people buying houses is far better than anything we saw in 2006. You could fog up a mirror in 2006 and get a loan. You can say, yeah, I have a job. I make 100,000. Oh, okay. Well, don't bother sending us paperwork. Here's your loan. So I don't see inflation coming. Everything I'm looking at right now shows that prices are going to come down, with the exception of real estate and the stock market, because there's no other place to put your money. You're not going to put it in a CD. You're going to make like 0.01%. So the real estate's anybody's guess. So got off on a little bit of a tangent there for a moment, but that's kind of where it's hard to tell just what kind of tools the feds are going to pull out to keep us from having a depression, not a recession, but a depression. And you can only increase reserves and give banks more liquidity for so long. And pretty soon it hits a wall. So that's why you hear me say things like, I don't see anything on the horizon when it comes to real estate numbers on supply and demand that are going to get us into trouble. But there are a million things in finance and in banking in general that could raise its ugly head. So let's take a look for a moment, because I know on my title here, I said, let's look at an area of town that I find kind of nice. I like going for walks up there, and it's in Central Phoenix, North Central Phoenix. I call it the Central Corridor, and I'll show you here on the map where it is. If I click on the right thing. So if you know Phoenix at all, this is Central Avenue here. And John McHone, before he bought his condo on 24th Street in Camelback, used to live right in here. And this part of town has, on Central Avenue, it's noisy. I wouldn't want a house facing Central Avenue, but there's a bridle path that goes up here on both sides. So you can get out there and see people riding their horses. There's a lot of people walking, riding bikes, and there's plenty of room. So it's very popular. But back in these neighborhoods here and here, there are some spectacular homes, and you don't feel like you're in Arizona. They just don't have that vibe. They're more of like, here's one for 1.5 million, and look at that beautiful home. There's a lot of trees, a lot of acreage. No views obviously, but unless you have a drone. But it's just a little tucked in neighborhood that people kind of they bypass when they come to Arizona. They go, well, I want to get a nice home. I'm going to go to North Scottsdale, or I'm going to go out to some of the suburbs. But there are some spectacular homes down in this neighborhood, and there's been a lot of them that have really been remodeled. Here's one for 1.1 million. It's obviously a new build. And then if you look at this one, this is on 6th Street. This is a spectacular home. And so there's a lot of refurbishing, rebuilding of homes going on in this area. But the sad part is there's only 11 of them. And if we go through like we did yesterday and we take a look and say, well, what has closed over the past month? Let's take a look. And I'm going to select the date here, and I'm going to go, let's see, close of escrow. I want to go 1 month. And here we go. So we had 23. That's pretty cool. So it was a busy month. This is that's just probably, there's a lot of condos and townhomes in the area too. Here's a nice little patio home. on Lomax. A lot of patio homes in the area. So what you really got to watch out for, be careful and take a close look at the HOA fees when you see some of these homes come up. Here's one for $636,000, only has one photo. That means after it closed, they removed the photos. But you can see there's some beautiful homes up in that area. Now, if you go back to the map, what we're going to touch on, it's probably going to be next week because I want to get down and I want to do some video. But our historic area is down in here in Canto, Willow, Coronado. I really want to show you what's going on in that retired area. And I think tomorrow we're going to touch on over 55 communities and show you what's going on there. Now, one of the things that I'm disappointed in is the coming soon tab on the MLS. I've looked at it several times during the day, and I'm not finding anything that's a legitimate coming soon. So Todd, I'm going to take a look here and see if anything's coming up in your neighborhood, see what's there. Let's see. We look for new listings. Here's one in Chandler for 510, and it's a 1-story. I know you're looking for a 2-story home, a little bit higher square feet. Here's one on Acacia for 549.9. I'd avoid that one like a plague. I wrote a contract on that last month. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Ask me privately. It's a heck of a story. That's 599 Lantana Drive. That's a price reduction. But what I don't like about it is it's stacked right up on top of the other houses. It's one of those 0 lot places. Not a big fan of that. These I don't like either. They look beautiful here, but they're right on the corner of Price Road and Queen Creek and noisy as all get out. So you're going to hear nothing but traffic going. So Todd, nothing new came up today. There's only 25 homes that are kind of in your search. And we got a question. What's the typical HOA fee in Chandler or Ahwatukee? Wow. So let's see. That's kind of all over the map, but the HOAs, like in Chandler, I know one in particular. Well, most of the HOAs down there are anywhere from $57 to $90 a month for just your basic neighborhood HOA. I know in Ocotillo, where I bought in 1996, my HOA payment was $54. Now it's $59, I think. That's pretty darn good. After 20 some odd years, they only raised it a few bucks. Now, if you get into communities that have swimming pools and big parks and stuff, that goes up. Here's the one KCH. HOAs in these areas are generally $70 non-gated and $110 for gated. I would agree. They go up a lot when you get into the over 55 communities, and they're gated with clubhouses and golf and tennis and pickleball. And in condos, boy, condos scare me. HOAs, the taller the building, the more elevators that are in it, the higher your HOA is. Elevators are expensive, so are swimming pools. But if it's a tall building and it's got an HOA, I'm telling you, it's going to cost you a fortune. I might even be able to show you here, but they do run almost $300 a month. And another thing is there's an area in Scottsdale, a few areas in Scottsdale, where you have an HOA fee and you have a land lease fee. Believe it or not, it's on Indian land, and it might be right in the middle of the city, but it's a little patch that's owned by the reservation on a 99-year lease. Carlos says, my community in Queen Creek is 102, and we have a pool in the neighborhood, but it's also covered in rock and hardly any grass. Yeah, the newer the development, the higher the HOA, unfortunately, Carlos. Just seems to go that way. I also don't like HOA transfer fees. I just think that's a ripoff. I mean, when you transfer from Carlos, you sell your home and you sell it to me, there's a $400 or $450 HOA transfer fee. I don't think it costs $450 to change the name on the HOA, but what do I know? I'm just an agent. So I see those transfer fees and go, oh, come on. So legislation had to cap it because they were charging like $800 on a transfer fee. It's just a money grab. So, pools are not that expensive to maintain. The big bugaboo is elevators. But anyway, I was getting back to some of these in condos. There's this great condo complex. It looks great. It's on Hayden Road, and you look, and they're like $70,000 to $90,000. You're thinking, holy cow, this is great. They're co-ops. So they're not they're co-ops. You cooperatively own the entire building, kind of like a condo, but not really. You share all the expenses together. So let's say there's 100 units. So you take all the expenses divided by 100 people. Well, if 25 of them move out, now you're sharing all the expenses by 75 people. And you have to be approved as a buyer. It's kind of like in New York, you're getting into a building. The neighbors have to approve you moving in. You have to apply for it. I don't think anybody wants to live next to me. So I'm not even going to try. So I don't like those. Whenever I see them, I get all excited. Like, oh, $68,000. What's wrong with this place? And I look, oh, it's a co-op. So I don't want anything to do with that. Just to recap, make sure you're looking at that HOA fee. So any more questions there? Oh, and I want to throw a side note out here. Side note, I'm with eXp Realty. We've expanded internationally, and we're like 45,000 agents right now. But we just got word that Grant Cardone joined eXp, and he's got big plans for us, which explains why the stock went from $9 to $147 over the past few months. But that was kind of a shocker. Grant Cardone he's wrote the book 10X. He's wound up tighter than a 9-day clock, but he's got a lot of money. I got to hear him speak here in Phoenix. Pretty sharp guy. And he mostly concentrates on rentals. So it was a big surprise to me that he joined eXp, because he buys a lot of rentals, and he really doesn't do any residential resale. So it's going to be an interesting party to watch. eXp is talking about expanding even more and more in Hong Kong, of all places. I want to take one more look here just at the number of listings available before we check out here. And we have 4,548. This typically goes up by 100 on Thursday, maybe 200. Friday's the highest number. I haven't seen a Wednesday dip down lower than a Tuesday, except just one time. And so I don't know how much lower it can get. I don't know where this market's headed, but I can say that if you at all are considering selling, no doubt now is the time. Now, in the small town in California, I think it's a high desert, I think Victorville, the broker up there was saying he's seeing this tremendous trend where people are selling their home and renting. Evidently, they're going to wait this out. Now, that could be a good strategy if you're planning on moving, but I can't predict what's going to happen next year. So if you sell your home and you pay high rent and you wait next year, you may be looking at higher prices and maybe looking at higher rent. But people are using that as a strategy because, sell when everybody else is buying and buy when everybody else is selling. So you can sell your home very easy right now. You can practically stand on your porch and say for sale. It's getting through the process that's challenging. People are still mildly picky on the inspections. So you will want some representation there. It's a little harder than just putting a sign in your front yard and saying, hey, for sale. So anyway, hit me up if you have any questions. It's great to see everybody here again, and we will see you tomorrow.